Esta conferencia comenzará a grabarse.
Now, so thank you. Welcome to the morning session of the European Alliance Against Coronavirus. We are focusing this session on the presentation of Your Europe. And in order to present it, we have with us Luca Mangiat from DG Grow. Thank you, Luca, for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me to present.
Yeah, this is, as I was saying before, it's a very, very special week, very intensive in terms of events for clusters, and you are opening it. So this is good. I will give you now the presentation rights. Let me check. You should be able now to share your screen. Do you see the...
Yes. I'm sharing, I think. Do you see?
Yes, we see it.
Okay. I can start introducing a bit the work we do in general in my unit. Good morning, everybody. My name is Luca Mangiat. I work for DG Grow at the European Commission in a unit that is called Single Market Service Center. And that's a unit where we manage a series of projects to the benefit of citizens, businesses, and public administrations in the single market. We try to make their life easier by presenting clear information on their rights, by giving them access to legal advice and to conflict resolution mechanisms. And we also try to facilitate work between public administrations in the single market between different countries. In the unit, we manage the Europe portal. That's what I'm working on and will be looking into specifically this morning, but also Europe Advice, which is a legal advice service. Solvit, which is a cross-border conflict resolution service mechanism. I'll devote some time to Europe Advice and Solvit as well this morning, but we also work on projects like IMI, the Internal Market Information System, which is an IT system that allows public administrations to talk to one another across borders in a secured space. The Single Market Scoreboard that looks at how all EU single market rights and obligations, but also how different services that are offered by the Commission and by member states work, how well or how or where there are areas for improvement. Finally, we also coordinate internally inside the European Commission the work on the Single Market Programme, the new financial instrument for support to the governance of the single market. This is how we see ourselves, all the different services we support, we manage, structured around the Single Market Programme. Actually, the Single Market Programme will provide us also with the financial resources to manage these different projects. So Europe is the information tool. Europe Advice is specialized legal advice. Solvit, it's a problem-solving tool, as I was saying. IMI allows collaboration, enables collaboration, and the scoreboard helps us monitor the situation on the ground. So Your Europe. Your Europe is the project I work on. It's a website. It's an information tool that provides citizens and businesses with clear information on their rights and obligations. We see it as perhaps the single market for dummies. We try to explain in an easy language what the rights and what the obligations are for citizens and businesses that want to make the most of their rights in Europe. whether you want to go and work abroad, study, or do business. We try to explain what the rules are so that you can have your rights recognized, but also you can live up to certain obligations that you will have. We translate it into all official EU languages. The only one we don't cover is Irish Gaelic, but we have all the others. We have Maltese, we have the lesser spoken languages in the EU. And we really try in all of these languages to make the texts as easy to understand as possible, and also as easy to retrieve from search engines as possible. We try really to optimize the content to make sure that users can find us when they type a query into Google. Perhaps the easiest way to do this, I have a couple of slides presenting what we do, but the easiest way to do this is perhaps to show you where we are, what the website looks like. So as you see, it's available in all languages. Let's go for the easiest one that we all understand here. It's divided into two main sections, citizens and business. Let's take the business section, which is the most interesting for you, I suppose. It's divided into subsections on different aspects of doing business in the EU. And it's really structured around user needs. We tested the information architecture with users. We changed it a few times. We improved it, and we are constantly adding content. The citizens side of the website is, I would say, pretty complete. The business side of the website is not yet. We are working to improve it. It is going to be the EU's single digital gateway. The whole website is going to become the single digital gateway. I can tell you something about it perhaps later. And we have also legal requirements to make sure that a long list of topics is covered to help businesses become active across borders in the single market. The structure is really based around user needs, not the Commission's internal organization. If you take product requirements, you'll find information coming from different parts of the European Commission, not only DG Grow, where most probably of the industrial product requirements are, where the responsibility for these topics lies, but also from other DGs on for instance, recycling and waste management from DG Environment. So it's all structured around the topics the user needs, and we work with many different colleagues across the organization to get the information, to translate it into a language everybody can understand, and to present it in a coherent way, not according to our own internal organization's boundaries. Let's just go to any of these. Perhaps here we can go to something we've done recently. There are new rules on mutual recognition in the single market, which means if you manufacture goods complying with harmonized EU rules and complying maybe with specific rules in any member state, like Spain, for instance, you should be able to market your goods in another country, in France, in Portugal, wherever. The fact that your good was complying with the Spanish rules should be enough to give it access to other markets in the EU. There are exceptions, but the general rule is that there should be mutual recognition. This is a declaration, a new type of document that should help you show that you are meeting the obligations in your home country, and that you should be able to market your good abroad. So we try to explain whether it's interesting for you, whether it's not, and what other options there are. We do it with interactive tools more and more to help users navigate more complex content. This one is quite simple, but there are areas where interactive content really helps you by answering a few questions, identify what really applies to you without reading pages and pages. How to write a mutual recognition declaration, what type of content should be there. And what is interesting is also that we are always provide access to further help and advice. For instance, on this page, we have access to Solve It and Your Europe advice that I'll say something more about in a moment. But on other pages like funding, for instance, you will get access. Let's try this one. You will get access to the Enterprise Europe network. This is the Enterprise Europe network. On pages about human resources, you'll get also access to EURES advisors. I don't know if you know all these networks, but we really try to target access to further help and advice page by page. Something else that we do is we try to provide access to specialized country-specific content. Now, let's go to taxation, rules and rates. You can choose a country. Some are missing because the rates probably were not updated recently, and also because this content was provided in an informal cooperation with member states so far. So we always try to, we explain the general rules at EU level on VAT rules and rates. What is interesting for a business person is to know what the rate is in a specific country, where they should file VAT returns in a specific country. This is really national content, and we try to bridge that gap between EU, quite high-level rules, and concrete obligations country by country. This, I was saying, was done until recently in an informal way, but we have now, together with member states, an obligation, a legal obligation that derives from a regulation adopted 2 years ago in 2018, the Single Digital Gateway Regulation that puts an obligation on both the Commission and the member states to make some content available online. We have now a structured cooperation with member states, not anymore an informal, voluntary one, but a legal obligation. Basically, all member states should now, by end of this year, by next month actually, make this information available so that we can link through to it from your Europe. Make it available on their website, not only in their language, but also translated into English so that we can link through to it and help users identify the needed information and identify it also and read it also in a language that is more accessible for foreign nationals, for foreign small businesses. So this is what we try to do. This is what I showed you. Yeah, you see some of our interactive tools are a bit more complex than the short one I showed you. This on air passenger rights is the most successful, I would say, in terms of visits. Also, the rules are quite complex, and we ask people, what happened? What was your problem? And then by asking a series of questions, we try to take them really to what matters to them. In terms of visits, I think our focus on making content simple, adding content and making it more digestible for users, covering all languages, optimizing it for search engines has really helped. as you see over the last, well, the website started in 2005, so 2005, I think. It's close to 15 years old now. And we have been constantly growing. We last year we had a 40% growth compared to 2018. This year will be the first year we will be very lucky if we break even. This is because the most visited section on the whole portal is the travel section. And for a few months this year,
Hello, Luca. I am having problems hearing you. I don't know. Nina, can you hear Luca well without problems?
Now I have some connection issues, or maybe Luca has. He was breaking off.
Luca, we are not hearing you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. It was good until 1 minute ago, more or less. You were speaking out the problems with this year travel through Europe and the statistics on visits, I suppose, have decreased. Hello, Luca. Luca? You have now your mic. Now it's activated. Can you speak now?
Yes, can you hear me better now?
I think so.
Is it better?
Yeah.
Okay. You lost me 1 minute ago.
Yes. Now we are not hearing you. Sorry. Luca?
Trying perhaps to explain the statistics quite a lot, moving across borders anymore. But your Europe business has grown.
We are not hearing you. Could you perhaps not share the screen? Just to try. Now, the voice is deactivated now. Now it's activated.
Was
Luca?
still.
Hello, Luca. If you can hear me, please don't share your screen. Stop sharing your screen.
Hello?
Yes, Luca? Please stop sharing your screen.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, but not very well. I think
Okay.
now. Could you try now? Yes. Luca, can you hear me?
Okay, let me share.
Now we can hear you.
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, the connection is better.
I don't know, maybe
so probably you should. I don't know if you can send me your presentation and I could share it.
Okay. Yeah.
Or we could
I'll
try
do it
again.
like this then.
Whatever you prefer.
I'll send you the presentation. This one. Voila. I think I was on slide 9.
If you want, while we wait for the
And I
presentation.
was explaining Yeah, I can go on even without slides while you receive it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can explain. Basically, yes, the citizens part of the website will always be larger than the business part, but we see that there's growth in the business part of the website. It went on little, but surely during the coronavirus crisis, we saw there's an increase of users for the product requirements section, where we are adding content, where we are working also with colleagues from the former trade help desk, now called Market Access portal, that have lots of product by product information. So we are increasing our cooperation with them to make sure that we can help small business owners identify their product requirements on a product by product basis. So there's growth there. We want to invest more and more resources into your Europe business, because as I was saying, Citizens is quite stable. There are some updates to do here and there, some little content to add, but there's much more potential for growth on the business side of the website. In terms of figures, still, slide 10. I don't know if you have received it yet. Yes. Visits by country. Well, it's as much as you would expect. The larger countries have more visits, but smaller countries, well, even if you look, it's not really proportionate, because if you take, I think, for instance, I think, yeah, even Poland is quite close to, it's not so far from Germany, which I think has quite many more inhabitants. And if you go to the next slide, you will see that also visit by language. Well, English is by far the single most visited section, but if you take it into context, it's only 25% of all visits. The rest are spread out across languages, and even the smaller versions, like the Estonian version, have quite a lot of visits. They had 60, 70,000 visits last year, which out of a population of 1 million Estonian people, I think, is quite a lot. Actually, it's much more than visits to the Spanish or the German version compared to the population. The only one which is really suffering is Maltese. I don't know if there are any Maltese people here, but the type of content that we provide, even Maltese people would look for it in English. So this is a bit to give you an idea of who our visitors are. We are doing at the moment, as we have just finished a survey to really discover more who our business users are, and it's really interesting to analyze. We are doing it at the moment. We suspected that most of our visitors would be from small or very small businesses. We now have also numerical confirmation out of a small sample of 1,500, but yeah, we see that that is confirmed, and we really try to adapt our message to the our language also to the needs of small businesses. Source of visits: 66%, even 66% come from Google. There are two different Googles here, but it's AMP is basically searches from mobiles, pages that we optimize specifically for searches from mobile. We also do a little bit of campaigns. Actually, it amounts to 17%. Last year, it amounted to 17% of visits. But really, the most important source of visits is people who have even perhaps no idea that there are some EU rules on something, and they type into Google a specific search query and they land on our pages. This is what your Europe is and offers. Oh yes, I can also tell you that the next two slides, there are still two. We do something on social media, but really, we have channels on social media and it's important to be there. But out of all visits, only 1% came from social media. So out of 36 million visits last year, only 360,000, I think, came from social media. And out of these 360,000, 95% were from Facebook. Presence on the other networks is always important, interesting to also be present in the landscape, and it also helps us with search engine optimization. So if we are active on social media, it also has a spillover effect. We get extra points for our optimization on Google, but it's really marginal. And the last one on the last slide on your Europe, the following is user satisfaction. I mentioned now a survey we did specifically on your Europe business, really to find out really who our users are and what their needs are. We are analyzing it now, but we also do every year, beginning of the year, an annual survey on satisfaction. Not really looking so much at who the users are, but at how happy they are with our content, or whether they think it's efficient or not. Most people are satisfied, more than 90% are satisfied, and you see the different colors are different years. You see the difference between from one year to another is minimal. It's within the margin of error, actually. It's quite stable in terms of user satisfaction. So this is what we offer as a website. I hope this is just an example, but we can skip it, I think, because I'm running late. I think if we want to give, if you, I don't know if you ever used the website, you or anybody else in your networks clusters, but I think it is an interesting source of information if any of you have questions from your members on their rights and obligations when they start doing business across EU borders. It's an interesting starting point, at least, to really understand the rules. So don't hesitate to share the website with your clusters, with your colleagues, with your networks. As I was saying, it's a starting point. It's where you can go for a first research, and it will add and try to increasingly answer all possible questions. But sometimes what we offer online is not enough. There are some specific needs, some very specific cases where you will want personalized advice. And this is something that we offer with Your Europe Advice. It's the link to Your Europe Advice is available on all pages of the Your Europe website at the bottom, and the help and advice, which I showed before. What is it? I understood the
Sorry, Luca, at least myself, I have lost you. I don't know if
I as well.
Sorry, Luca. Yes, we lost you for the last minute also.
Okay, I'll try again. So a service providing, it's basically a network of legal advisors that can help you if you have a specific question. If after reading your Europe page that explains your rights and obligations, if you move to another EU country with a Chinese spouse, if after reading this information you still have questions, because you never lived together in an EU country, but only in China with your EU spouse, and you are not sure whether the rules apply to your case, you can ask for specialized legal advice from your Europe advice. Same thing, if you are a small business, you read the rules about mutual recognition, but you are not sure about following specific standards for your product in Germany where you want to export to, you can ask for personalized advice. There's a network of legal experts that can answer questions in all EU languages on your rights and obligations in the EU. If you go to the next slide, yeah, next slide. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Hello?
Luca, we.
Can you go to the next slide, please? I don't see it yet. Well, I can continue, even looking at mine. Last year, your Europe Advice had 34,000 questions. So it's also been increasing a lot over the last few years since, well, it's really the bulk of the questions they get are from users from the Europe website. There are some small exceptions, but it mirrors a bit what you see for the website. 80% of the questions are from citizens, and only a minority are from businesses. They are getting, though, more and more questions from businesses, and it's also an option for you, for your networks, for your partners, to reach out to this network if you have any specific questions on EU single market rules. What happens if you read your Europe, the website, understood the rights and the obligations you have, but when you start doing business in another country, or when you move in another country, you have problems with the public administration, and you think that the public administration is not respecting your EU rights. In that case, we have Solvit. So we can go perhaps to the slides on Solvit. There are a couple of slides further down. One more. Okay, let's go one more again. Okay, Solvit is a network of civil servants from all EU and EEA countries, so also Norway, Liechtenstein, and Iceland. They are national civil servants, and they can intervene if your EU rights have not been respected when in a cross-border situation. An example, I produce, I don't know, barbecues. This was a nice example. Barbecues in Belgium, and I want to export them to France. In France, this is a non-harmonized good. There are some special rules in France regarding barbecues. My barbecues comply with Belgian legislation. They should be recognized also in France, but the French authorities don't accept what I produce because my barbecues don't meet the French national rules. Then Solvit can intervene. I can call on I can call on Solvit. Solvit, the network, will put in touch Belgian civil servants with French civil servants, and they will try to sort it out between themselves, trying to understand if I had a right to export my goods under mutual recognition rules or not, if there is a problem with a local administration or a sectorial administration that is interpreting EU and national rules in a wrong way or not. And what they will try to do is to solve the issue between themselves without going to court. So Solvit can intervene if you have not been to court yet, and if it's really a cross-border issue where there is a suspicion of misapplication of EU law. They also have an increase in business cases, but it's really marginal still, and we hope we can make the service more useful and interesting for businesses. So if you have any cases like the one I mentioned, where there's a cross-border element misapplication, presumed misapplication of EU law, and you haven't been to court yet, and you don't want to court yet, this is an option to try and solve things easily within 2 months rather than 2 years for a court case, perhaps. Number of cases, yes, has been growing recently. Though yes, it's still around between 2,300, 2,400 as an average for the moment. These are the services we manage. I don't know if you had ever heard of them or if you have any specific questions. I'll try to stick. These I would leave out. They were only support slides, but unless there are. Yeah, I think we can close the presentation here. Now I wanted to open the floor to you to hear if you have any questions on any of these services. I can try to answer, in particular on your Europe, but also on the others. Had you ever heard of any of these? I think
Thank you very much.
Is the most known brand.
So this is an open question for everybody. Have you heard about these services before? Aurora?
Not in my case.
Not about all the services, and I wonder about costs.
Could you repeat,
Okay.
Aurora? Sorry.
I was asking about the costs of using these services.
Thank you, Aurora.
They are for free. So the website is clearly for free, but also your Europe Advice and Solvit are for free for the user. There is a budget in our unit to support the legal advice tool. It's actually the largest because, as I said, they tens of thousands every year. But for Solvit, it's a service provided by national administrations for free. So we have a secretariat here at the European Commission, but it's the real service is offered by the national administrations, and there's no cost to access the service.
Antonio, can I make a question to Luca? Luca, tell me one thing. One of the aspects for this kind of service, and congratulations because it's very, very nice and very, very useful, is to try to monetize and to apply for the contribution of the users in order to improve the quality of the service. Do you do that? Do you try to make some inquiries to the citizens, to the business, in order to create a more level of quality in the service that you provide?
Yes. Well, as I was saying, on your Europe itself, or not, how can we improve? That's constant throughout the year. Then we have an annual survey accessible from the website, as a user, you can provide feedback on the quality. We also are trying now to really identify better who our business users are. We did a survey. But then there's this is what we have done so far. We have also for specific topics. We have done user research. We have invited a few test users to check the website, test the website. But we have also done some specific focus groups on product requirements, on taxation, with people that were identified. For instance, with the help of the Enterprise Europe network, or with calls for experts to join us in to analyze specific areas of information. Now, this is something perhaps that I don't know if there's any interest from your side. We can now also put the cluster organizations on our list of people that we can turn to, and this is one of the ideas actually why I thought it would be interesting to establish a connection. In the future, we will maybe need to get feedback on specific areas, and maybe the clusters organizations are a partner that we can work with.
I totally agree with that.
Yeah. There's also one aspect that I wanted to mention is this single digital gateway regulation that I mentioned. So there's a requirement. There are a series of requirements in terms of content that Commission and Member States must make available online. And there's also a list of procedures that Member States should ensure are available online, that people can access online and they don't have to do them in paper only. For both these obligations, information and procedures, there's a requirement to analyze how Commission and Member States are doing by looking at feedback from users. So it's really central to this idea of the gateway that we analyze how we do based on the feedback that we receive from users. So this is also an interesting element of how we are evolving. Nina, I see in the chat, was asking to what extent these services are promoted by the member states. So how we deal with promotion. So far, the approach was really to promote Your Europe first, and not so much Your Europe Advice and Solvit. This is because we really wanted people to first read and only then access Your Europe Advice, which I said is for free for the user, but has a cost for the Commission. So that we only give people access to this advice service if they have at least read the basic information. Same thing for Solvit. Solvit has a problem with out-of-scope cases. They receive lots of inquiries that they can't really do much with, because a case can go to Solvit if there is the cross-border element, if there's a public administration that supposedly has not applied EU law correctly, and if the case has not been to court yet. Now, it's a difficult thing to make people realize whether their case can really go to Solvit, and they get lots of out-of-scope cases. So they want to promote the service, but they must also make sure that they don't do it too much or in a way that will just create more out-of-scope cases. Member states in this have played a role and will play more of a role with this gateway project. They will also have to be more active in the promotion. We are as I said, there's the first legal deadline of end of this year, and then we want to make sort of a launch of this new renewed cooperation, more content, more access to information, and later on also more access to online procedures. Member states have also are increasingly helping us promote. We'll do launch events online in the first half of next year. We want to do something more nice in presence in the different countries, but probably not going to happen for a while. But yes, member states will play an increasing role, the national administrations, in this promotional effort.
Good morning. If I may, just to share my experience. The website has come through different search that I have done, so I have used it. And also in a series of seminars that I am teaching in person for City Hall in Malaga, I have provided it as a reference because it's for SMEs. So I found it pretty useful for them to know, and also direct and easy reply to their questions that might arise, and especially on online businesses and with the tax-related matters and new regulations that are being issued by each country. So I do know, and I have used it, and I'm promoting the website.
Okay, that's great. That's really great to hear. But if you encounter any in your presentations or any questions that we don't answer or that we should answer in a better way, don't hesitate. Now you also have my email address. Or if you don't, it will be given to you, I don't know, by Antonio or Nina. So don't hesitate to send your observations to us.
We could share it in the chat if you want. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Luca, and thank you, Sonsoles. Okay, so as you said, we can. I think it's extremely interesting for us, for our members. Okay, I need to say that I didn't know about it before our first chat some days ago, and so I find it extremely useful. And we could look for solutions or for explore ways to collaborate with you to split the knowledge between our cluster members and also to give feedback to you. I think that as you very well know, we are working mostly on innovation. And I wonder if there is information about that field in your Europe.
So, in terms of innovation, what do we have? The information is really about rights and obligations so far. So not so much about opportunities or technological developments. But we have something. There's the access to finance section where we present where we present information on EU-backed loans or venture capital, including for research and development, innovation, exactly. So this is one way. If you click on the map,
yeah, for example,
you'll be able to access a country by country, so the type of finance you want and the type of sector. Yeah, you can try. I think if you go for I don't know. This is Belgium specifically, but yeah, there's venture capital loans that are backed by EU money. So there are guarantees provided out of the EU budget for you to access funding and more easily do research or scale up your startup. So this is one thing that we do. We are working on improving the product requirement section. If you do innovation in industrial sectors, there should be more information there also soon. There is already access actually, but we want to improve also the way we present information. Something else that we want to do now is really businesses. I imagine you have rather medium-sized enterprises, or even if they are small, they have very tech-savvy people. We are going to have a new set of pages also on bringing your business online. This is really for very small businesses without lots of technical knowledge. So perhaps that's not for you. But we are trying to make it easier for all sorts of businesses to live through and thrive in the digital transformation that we are living. So this is something that should probably go online beginning of next year. In terms of other technical specific content, I can't think of anything specific right now, but it may come. Then it really depends on the sector. It really depends on the sector also, because if you are active on, I don't know, if you are in an online business selling online services across borders, we have something that should facilitate your life in terms of VAT returns. But okay, that is really about taxation, not about your innovation aspect. We try to help you facilitate your life doing the boring administrative stuff while your engineers think about the real innovation aspects.
Because I have a very concrete request from one of our members. They are looking ways to certificate new mask. You know, they started some months ago with at the beginning of the crisis and developing a mask. And they asked me, that is totally real, past week, about how to facilitate the certification of the mask.
Okay, here I can explain something to you, because I saw you tried to use the search. This is one of the features of this gateway approach. We are developing a search engine that not only searches for information on your Europe itself, but also on a number of national certified public administration websites. You made a search in English and it gives you now results from gov.uk. Well, I think gov.uk will disappear from the search results because they can't. But results pretty random here from national sites. If you go up to the top, you see choose EU national content, one of the top tabs. You can go to choose EU content.
Okay.
It's already EU. It's interesting, but
no, I choose it before.
It's okay. Selling products. Well, this I would expect something different here, but if you go to product requirements in the navigation on top. Yeah, back to the other page.
Here.
Or even click there, and we'll go business, doing business. Then scroll down. Product requirements, product compliance.
Yeah.
I would go. Yeah. very few people use this navigation. It's really for most people get to the right page from Google itself. But
Okay,
if you
yeah,
go
I
to,
understand.
it would be easier for me to
Don't worry. It was
manufacturer.
just
But basically, there's a page on
one example.
identity rules. It basically explains how to identify the rules and will take you to this EU Trade Help Desk that now has been redone, and it's the market access database. There you can search product by product.
So
It's quite a complex search still, but you can search product by product, what the rights, what the obligations are. You can.
Sorry, Luca, I have some
Hello,
quality
I can.
problems. Yeah, I was asking you if I need support about this, because at the end I don't have, I really don't understand what can I do. How can I request support? Luca, can you hear me? Luca?
Yeah, I can't hear you anymore.
Let me, there is some problem with the
Hello?
communication link. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Now. Yeah. Okay,
I can.
the link is not very good, so it's under as far as we don't share information on the screen, I think the communication is better. So I think that this is, as I said, very interesting. Is there any comment or question from the rest of the attendant before closing? No? What I can for sure offer you, Luca, is our full collaboration. I think it makes sense to spread the knowledge of this tool through our cluster and through our cluster members. So this video will be uploaded to the European Cluster Collaboration platform, and I hope that it's viewed by our clusters. But anyway, we could organize, as you suggest, some other kind of collaboration and try to help you on understanding what is the feedback from our cluster or our cluster members. So feel free to suggest or to I don't know, look for new steps.
Yeah.
Okay, we can also share the reference.
We'll be quite busy with this gateway launch in the next.
Sorry, could you repeat, please?
We'll be quite busy in the next couple of months with this gateway launch. But then definitely next year we'll need at some point to restart again doing user research, user consultations, and if there's anything that concerns the technological sector or how we present information for any type of cluster, actually, I'll get back to you then, or to Eva from the Commission, and we can take it from there, I think.
Perfect.
Okay.
So thank you very much, Luca, for joining us and for explaining us about your Europe and the rest of the services. I think they are very interesting, and we need to explore how to spread the knowledge and make better use of it. Thank you, and have a very good week for everyone.
Thanks a lot. Have a nice week.
Same to you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.